very good evening and welcome to Select News with me, Latifa Hamid. We have a lot in store for you, but we'll first look at the headlines and we'll be right back. In the headlines tonight, Bobi Wine supporters remain camped at Nalufenya in protest of his arrest. Day 2 of protest, 7 confirmed dead as city remains in somber state. You are playing with fire, Museveni to protesters. And in sports, boxing legend Floyd Mayweather returns to the ring. We start our stories today with the arrest of Robert Tagulani and the updates of where he is right now. Now, the NUP party president Robert Tagulani is still behind bars in Nalufenya prison after being detained in Luka district on charges of performing acts likely to cause the spread of COVID-19. We have that story.
Police yesterday arrested NUP party president Robert Tagulani in Luka district just before addressing his supporters and whisked him away to Nalufenya prison where he is currently being held captive.
NUP spokesperson Joel Senyonyi says efforts to reach the Electoral Commission were futile.
Bayogeddeko nabo ne tubategeeza kyekigenda maaso ne bagamba ensonga bajja zikwasaganya naye mwati bulijjo kye bagamba tugenda kufollowinga up tugenda kukola ki n'ebirala naye obuyinza bwabwe bambi bulina obukuma newankubadde tebajja kyogera so twabategeezezaako ne bagamba kabafollowing up naki buli bino bwe bibeerawo nga batutulugunya naki n'ebirala bagamba tugenda following up naye kikoma ku ekyo kubanga
Senyonyi says Bobi Wine hasn't been allowed to see neither his family nor his lawyers.
So netugamba tujja kuddayo Kampala ngo muntu affe tumulina twafunye bitwasuze machawa nkeera ne tukeera wano tugezezaako okulabanga omuntu afutegeera embeera gy'alimu n'abapoliisi n'abasirikale mubalabe tebagala tuwulira kikigenda maaso bagamba mugende mwogere ne baboosi baffe babuuza baboosi baani abo bemutwogera tugende tubabuuze kikigenda maaso kubanga omukulembeze waffe tebannakiriza balooya be kumulaba tebannakiriza abasawo kumulaba kubanga tumanyi embeera kigyalimu tebannakiriza famire naffe abakulembeze abalala.
Senyonyi also condemned the arrest of Muhammad Sagirinya and called upon Bobi Wine supporters to be strong in these critical times.
Wano ne bakomrade bannaffe naye tugenza okulaba kamotoka ka drone buno buvaani obuyina tit kaze wano ne kayola comrade Sagirinya Muhammad candidate waffe mu Kawempe North. Tumanyi lwaki bamutute mu mbeera ey'obukambwe bonna abajamulakuta amamundu naki ate kirabika yeye kabwe badde bazo okukima kubanga bamusurroundinze ne bamuyula ne bamutwala tubadde tumanyi bagenda kukwata buli ali wano ne abalala babalese ne batwala yeso.
Joel Senyonyi and a group of people have camped outside Nalufenya and promised not to leave until their candidate is released.
Habulwa tumugamba mukulu weddeko fitwagala nkyukakyuka ey'omu mirembe ate genda kubaawo kuba oyagala tuyagala okay n'abawagizi baffe tubagumya munywere kuba enywera yeerima fitulembeddeko mu buli ngeri tusigale nga tulikakkamu naye ate tusigale nga tulembedde ku nsonga erwanirira enkyukakyuka mu buli ngeri bano be tutya ate be basinga n'otutya kyovudula abakola bino bebakola batiisatiisa bakuba abantu baffe ne batanaabamu ekitegeeza nti bwe tukute we wali ekinyusi tunywereze dda.
As reports are coming in right now, Robert Tagulani has not been released yet from Nalufenya prisons, but we'll be bringing you reports as they come in from our reporters who are in field as we speak. Now, moving forward, the second wave of protests in demand of the release of NUP flag bearer Robert Tagulani continues today with 7 confirmed dead, scores injured and 350 people arrested.
Arrested in Luka district, Tagulani is still under detention for the second day as demonstrations continue to demand his release.
See? Money?
parts of Ndeba, Kawala, Rubaga and Gayaza, angry mob lit up tires and had running battles with the police and demanded for justice. In retaliation, police fired tear gas, canisters, rubber bullets and, according to eyewitnesses, live metallic bullets. The second wave of protests were, however, curtailed faster. Police had already set up points of maximum security and patrols, ensuring that yesterday's scenarios would not be repeated. In other towns like Hoima, Masindi and Jinja, angry youths also caused fracas but were dispersed by police. While speaking to the NRM leaders in Kotido, President Museveni said government will not tolerate hooliganism exhibited by the protesters, warning that they will be crushed. Robert Tagulani is still detained at Nalufenya prison and has not been allowed access to his lawyers yet. Kara Tumwine for Select News.
We'll continue from the last part of that conversation where His Excellency Yoweri Museveni is in Kotido, and while in Kotido he warned protesters, saying the government shall not tolerate such. The president claims that the protesters are being funded by homosexuals.
While addressing delegates from Kotido, Abim, Karinga and Kabong during his ongoing campaign trail in Karamoja Sab region, the president of Uganda and NRM flag bearer, Yoweri Museveni, who was accompanied by the First Lady Janet, spoke out against the ongoing violence in some parts of the country, saying that those who are attacking NRM people and supporters will live to regret it.
Those who have been attacking NRM people in the Kampala area, they will soon lose that appetite. You will see a uniform of NRM and you feel you cannot touch it. You don't have appetite to touch it. Even if they leave it abandoned, you will not touch it. Because they have entered an area you know very well. And fight you.
Museveni further added that the people who are fueling these protests in and around the country are being funded by foreign forces.
Some of these groups are being used by outsiders. So, homosexuals, I know what groups outside there. Who don't like the stability of Uganda, the independence of Uganda.
In her speech to the people of Karamoja, the First Lady and former Minister of Karamoja Affairs, Janet Museveni, revealed that NRM is a party of peace and unity and transformation.
That since we are also a resistance movement, we must resist those who want to change our way of doing things. So if I'm a party, all of the game.
The First Lady also said that the government will not allow the acts of violence from negative forces.
And be proud of being NRM. Don't allow anybody to intimidate you.
Earlier on in the day, supporters of the Kotido Municipality MP Adome Moses Bildad took to the streets of Kotido town in disregard of COVID-19 standard operating procedures to cheer their candidate by moving in form of a procession. Although the NRM party chairman has countlessly rejected this kind of behavior, the police and security looked on as supporters violated the regulations. However, the Director of Information in the National Resistance Movement has come out to condemn these acts and blame the police.
Because who will hold them liable? It is the police. Because who will go and arrest the mobilizers? You want me to go and arrest them? It is the police supposed to do that because it has the responsibility, it has the locus, it has the duty to ensure that it protects the people of Uganda.
The leaders from Kotido and Karamoja sub-region also spoke out on what they need the president to do for them.
Him to continue with the aspect of removing the illegal guns, which our people have acquired because of the porous borders. So we urge the government to continue. Then hospitals.
This day marks the end of President Yoweri Museveni's meetings with NRM leaders in the Karamoja sub-region. This area, which used to be a restive area like Kotido district, the president has only had one message for them. We shall not allow people who want to destroy the peace ushered in by the NRM government. For Select News, I'm Suhail Mugabe.
Now, these protests have been going on for 2 days, and Robert Chagulanyi's supporters have said that they will not stop unless he is released from Nalufenya prisons. Now, moving forward, Fred Mukasambide was arrested while addressing a press conference in Masaka town. As NUP supporters protest Chagulanyi Sentamu Robert's arrest, police is also engaged in brutal confrontations with his enthusiasts as they set fire on roadblocks in different roads. Police intervened by firing tear gas into the angry protesters. We have more on that story.
The arrest of Fred Mukasambide, a lawyer and a Democratic Party subscriber, was after he invited the press to address the public on the current political situation.
Simanyi bakikwatiddwa kubanga tuli mu ddembe eryaffe tukkirizibwa okwenyigira mu kulonda. Bino bitegeeza ki mu ggwanga? Eddembe ly'omuntu lisyoboddwa. Okutyobola ddembe lyaffe.
Before Mbide's arrest, he spoke of the unjust arrests and detention of opposition presidential candidates during the campaign period. He also requested his colleagues in the opposition to take up responsibility of campaigning for Robert Chagulanyi as a unit candidate.
Ffe tugenda kunoonya obululu obwa Chagulanyi ne bwe baba mugaanyi obunoonya. Ffe tugenda kweyongera, ffe tugenda kuyimiriza campaign ezaffe eza parliament. Kati tukube ezize ezinoonya obululu bwe ku bwa pulezidenti bwa Uganda. Bwe banaamuteera twagala abeere nga bw'olaba enjovu egudde mu kataba n'obuzzi bwonna bwonna obubaddewo n'ebusaanyaawo. Era tusuubira nti eyo gyali tusaba bulamu bubeere nga weebuli.
Mbide promised all these issues will be cordially handled from the High Court.
Wano tewabeerangawo demokulasiya yenna kubanga okuvuganya tekukkirizibwa. N'olwekyo obanga tewali kuvuganya kukkiriziddwa, tugenda kulekeraawo okusuubira okutwala obuyinza nga tuyita mu kalulu. Naye tetugenda kulekeraawo okubwetaaga nga tuyita mu nkola zetulowooza nti ze zijja okusoboka. N'olwekyo nkubira gavumenti eno mulanga ekisooka etemangu Chagulanyi n'abawagizi be bonna abagenze bakwatibwa nga bateekebwa mu makomera.
Police spokesperson in Greater Masaka, Mohammed Nsubga, says they are ready to continue with their operations against the lawbreakers, and these will face the strong arm of the law.
N'olwekyo deployment mu Masaka ne mu bitundu ebyenjawulo mu bwendo lya Masaka zo ziri bulungi nnyo era zigenda mu maaso. n'olwekyo tukumye bannayuganda bonna babeere bakakkamu tunembeera tugirinye ku mpete abo bonna bonna abanaagezaako okutatankanya eddembe lya munnayuganda okumenya amateeka tujja bakwata.
Maria Dana Namiro, STV Select News.
Well, thank you for staying with us. We'll go for a short break and we'll be back with more conversation on FDC and how their campaign trial is going on. Stay with us.
Credible, bold and accurate. You can trust us to add professional context and in-depth analysis to the web of current affairs every week. Share an experience with those that saw it happen. A blend of opinions from journalists, subject experts, and involved participants. The Newsroom, breaking down the weekly top stories. Join us at 9:30 p.m. every Saturday, only on STV. Wait for the Age at 9 p.m. prime time every Sunday.
Ensonga nnyingi eziruma bannayuganda omuli ebyobufuzi, ebyenjigiriza, enkulaakulana ssaako n'obuweereza bw'abakulembeze. Wano ku STV ensonga zino zitukwatako. Twegatteko buli lwasande okuva ku ssaawa 12:45 okutuuka ku ssaawa 1:30 ez'ekawungeezi mu pulogulaamu Zinga Bwendaba nga tukubaganya ebirowoozo ku biri mu ggwanga ssaako n'okutuusa eddoboozi lyaffe eryawo bekikwatako. Wano ku STV nange Hasif Ssekiwunga.
Hey guys, you're watching STV Select for Fun.
Well, FDC's Patrick Muriat has joined the rest of the opposition in condemning police brutality towards protesters demanding for the release of Robert Tagulani. Now, we remember that on the same day that Robert Tagulani was arrested in Luka district, Muriat was also arrested in Gulu, but he was released the following day at 9 a.m. and he continues with his campaign trail. We have that story.
Following the freedom of Amuriat Oboy from Gulu while on his campaign trail, the FDC flag bearer, who was left to continue traversing the country, has relaunched his campaign condemning police brutality.
I will go according to my will. I'm a citizen of this country.
It's okay, let us go. It's okay.
You know I'm a citizen of this country.
It's okay, but let us go.
Police, we are not going to allow you to harass the people of Uganda. I want to assure you this.
In a similar incident, his rallies in Moya district were frustrated by police.
Just give me, let me take my time.
No, you don't have time here. Your time is the other side.
You have no authority to order me. I'm a presidential candidate, my friend. You guys have been harassing me since yesterday.
We don't have any problem. You tell us, you go, you pass here. But you come as if you are
You wanted to knock our officer and we have...
What is wrong with you, DPC? Say we go, we pass here.
And we go the other side.
You think we are human beings? We are not human beings.
Let us go. Let us go.
Yes. I agree with...
There was resistance on Amuriat's part, one that resulted into another scuffle, tear gas and rubber bullets. The opposition have confronted a combined effort in demanding for the release of Robert Tagulani, who is still in detention at Nalufenya police station. Maria Dana Namido, Shamira Nagawa, STV Select News.
While Amuriat was dealing with police the way you looked at, the FDC were also holding a presser where they said the same things that Amuriat said, and they strongly condemned what they described as brutal acts by security organs and police plus the army. Let's look at that story as well.
Nandala Mafabi, the FDC's General Secretary, described the brutal acts by police and the army as a clear indication that the incumbent president has no plans to peaceful handover of power, but rather signs of clinging to power.
It's time to raise up. We have lost our dear ones, and these people who have died, we know more will die. Until we liberate this country, we should not give up. Freedom is never free. Freedom is never free. As our chairman has stated, we should continue with the struggle, and wherever you are, struggle. If anything you can do to make this struggle go ahead, go ahead.
Mafabi has asked the Electoral Commission chairperson Justice Simon Biabakama to step down after, according to him, has failed to exhibit professionalism in execution of the electoral's body mandate.
Sure. Looks has lost power. Now the power has been given to one candidate in 7 with the security forces. This clearly shows that Mr. Justice Biamukama, it's high time he declared that he has failed and resigned. The reason we are raising it, he has not reigned in one of the candidates, and that's the candidate.
Waswa Birigwa, the Forum for Democratic Change campaigning manager, remarks so many brutal acts have been committed to Ugandans, but the struggle shall continue until the country is liberated.
Of our candidate, Poa Patrick Boy Amuriat, in such a manner when he went to do exactly what he was supposed to do. He was arrested, and how cars were damaged in such a way that it would be difficult to use some of them as we continue to campaign.
Be contemplate on the already achieved victory even before the election day.
All of them, they come from all corners and they just want to see their candidate. So, to be blaming the candidates for bringing in crowds is either naive or stupidity of the worst kind.
Semujunganda Hussein, the FDC's mouthpiece, said it is very unfortunate that President Yoweri Museveni's campaigns with the large crowds violating the standard operating procedures, which leeway is not granted to other candidates, leaving the political grounds unleavened.
The NRM people receiving him in their hundreds. If this police wants to pretend that they want to act tough, I think Museveni should have been arrested the day he went to go. Because you all saw Museveni with crowds. You were even sweeping the road as he was entering, triumphantly entering the coup. So if they arrest Museveni, we will not complain if they are arresting others.
Hasif Sechunga, STV Select News.
The Office of the Spokesperson for United Nations Secretary General has called on security forces in Uganda to act in a manner that respects human rights and the principle of the rule of law. The call was made at the daily press briefing by the Office of the Spokesperson for the Secretary General, Stefan Dujarric, who was responding to questions from journalists in regard to the riots in Kampala and other parts of the country following the arrest of presidential candidate Robert Tagulani Sentamo.
Bobby Wine has been arrested again in Uganda ahead of the forthcoming elections. How concerned is the Secretary General about these developments?
We are. We've been following, I think, the developments around Uganda and the electoral, the presidential campaign. I think it's very important that state institutions, particularly security forces, act in a manner that respects human rights and the principle of the rule of law in order to for an inclusive and broad participatory political and environmental process. We will be following up more closely on the on the latest developments. And I think it's important that all parties and political actors and government leaders work in a way that will ensure a peaceful election.
A couple of follow-ups. You talk about peaceful, but the arrest has been followed by protests which appear to have been violently put down. There are even reports of people being shot by security forces, unconfirmed, and now some sort of curfew underway. How concerned are you about the current situation?
Well, people have a right to demonstrate peacefully. Any excessive use of force by security forces anywhere is of concern to us. It is important that there is a space provided for people to express themselves, whether in demonstration or through a democratic process.
After 36 years in power, do you think President Museveni is going to allow free and fair elections? I ask that question because the EU now is not going to send a monitoring mission. The reason the EU is not going to send a monitoring mission is because it says it's done it in previous years, and in 2016 it made 30 recommendations of things that the Ugandan authorities needed to do to have free and fair elections, and not one of them has been implemented.
Well, I can't predict what will happen. What I can say is that we hope there will be the space for the exercise of the democratic process. Maria, if that is...
Well, thank you for staying with us. Now moving forward to our business stories. Uganda's economy is on a recovery trend from the downturn caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. A new report by the Ministry of Finance showed. The monthly performance report for October showed that for the fourth consecutive month, the Purchasing Managers Index has stayed above the 50-mark threshold. Readings above 50 signal an improvement in business, while those below 50 show deterioration. The PMI rose to 55.8 in October from 54.5 in September, according to the report, which means our economy is getting better. We'll take a break and come back with sports.
You're watching STV. Select for fun.
The news has literally become cyclic. For what happens in Gulu, Mbale, Kampala and elsewhere is the same. My job is to tell the story on what happened, where, who did it, how they did it, and probably why they did it. Join me every single weekday as I break down those big stories that make rounds of headlines only on Select News. With me, Simon Chris Makanga.
You're watching STV. Select for fun.
Well, moving forward with our sports news, Tini brings us what is happening in the boxing world, with boxing legend Floyd Mayweather returning to the ring with a fight in Tokyo in February 2021. Mayweather retired 3 years ago, and although he had previously announced that he was coming out of retirement in 2020.
Boxing legend Floyd Mayweather will return to the ring with a fight in Tokyo in February 2021. The retired ex-champ had already dropped hints about the fight, which follows a widely ridiculed 2018 exhibition match against a Japanese kickboxer, but organizers offered more details on Monday. It will be part of an event dubbed the Mega 2021, being hosted at the Tokyo Dome in the Japanese capital on February 28th, the production committee said in a press release. They said it it would feature champion-class fighters including Mayweather, but gave no further details, including who the welterweight star will face and under what conditions. Mayweather retired 3 years ago, and although he had previously announced he was coming out of retirement in 2020, he hasn't been seen in action this year. A legend in the boxing world with an unbeaten 50 record, Mayweather is no stranger to Japan, where he fought an exhibition match against MMA star Tenshin Nasukawa in December 2018, the last time he was coerced out of retirement for a big payday. Mayweather floored the kickboxer less than half his age 3 times in the first round before the Japanese fighter's trainer rushed in to stop the fight. In 2017, Mayweather knocked out mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor in the 10th round of a super-hyped boxing match. Tini Rukabwe, STV Select Sports News.
Sports. Uganda's Cricket Association has finally unveiled the South African coach Lawrence Mahatlane as the new Cricket Cranes coach. The 43-year-old signed a 3-year renewable contract and will take the helm from interim coach Davis Turinaiwe. Let's look at that story.
The Uganda Cricket Association, in conjunction with the National Council of Sports, has today unveiled the new coach of the Uganda national cricket team.
Presenting the 45+ million Ugandans.
At a ceremony held at Katikati Lugogo, South African Lawrence Mahatlane was unveiled and introduced on a 2-year contract to coach the Cricket Cranes.
They do their things. Lawrence is quick to sign. Looks like it's all come.
His task is to help Uganda through a busy 2021 season of international cricket, and therefore preparations are needed, and he will work hand in hand with the interim coaches Davis Turinaiwe and Jackson Ogwang as he gets used to the players. Mahatlane was appointed in June, but due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, he was not able to take up the job and start his duties till today. In his new task ahead, the Setswana-speaking South African talked of his new job and looked ahead to start work.
First impressions, I think it's very hard. I saw everybody wearing jerseys, so I nearly started crying because I'm melting away at the moment. But I really enjoy the country. It's been an amazing 24 hours since I've got in. And with the exception of the traffic, everything else is.
The CEO of Uganda Cricket Association, Mr. Martin Ondeko, talked of the appointment and the job ahead for the South African with cricket coaching experience of 15 years.
The short-term targets, of course, one of the most important is to get up to ODI cricketers, that is in 2022. But in the long term, we actually wanting to help us set up the structure, playing structure here in Uganda for both the men and the women. We have the background of someone who has coming from a well-organized and structured environment, so we believe expertise that it has.
The national coaching framework. What are the standards for each national federation? For example, level 1, level 2, level 3. So to aggregate what in a national coaching framework.
Mahatlane's first task is to get the Cricket Cranes for the trip to Qatar and improve Uganda's ODI rankings. Tini Rukabwe, Sai Kayasin Sekalala, STV Select Sports News.
Well, we end our news on sports with football. Following their Sunday defeat at Belgium, England's players were intent on finishing on high last night, with Phil Foden striking twice as England's youngsters shone in a 4-0 thrashing of 10-man Iceland in the Nations League at Wembley.
Phil Foden struck twice as England's youngsters shone in a 4-0 thrashing of 10-man Iceland in the Nations League last night. England were unable to qualify for the competition's knockout phase following Sunday's defeat to Belgium, but the players were intent on finishing on a high, and after first-half goals from Declan Rice in the 20th minute and Mason Mount in the 24th minute got the ball rolling, Foden crashed in when Bakil Mar Severson was sent off on 54 minutes. Each goal scorer is 21 or under, and there will be hope that the trio, along with England's other rising talents, can continue to improve and develop ahead of of next summer's European Championships, where they will need to overcome far stronger opposition than this Iceland side. While Belgium's big win over Denmark in the group's other fixtures earning them top spot and a place in the Nations League finals, Gareth Southgate's attentions will now turn to the tournament and March's World Cup qualifiers, knowing there are still question marks over his best system and strongest 11. Tini Rukabwe, STV Select Sports News.
Well, Mayweather has shown us that it is hard to retire from boxing, and he is back and better, and I hope all of us are looking forward, just like I am, to watch the Mayweather match come February. But as we're looking forward to watch the Mayweather match, we should also be looking forward to go and vote, exercise our rights to vote come 2021 January 14th, and make sure that you're able to cast that vote. Have yourself a good night and take care of yourself.